Hi everyone, welcome to my Drugstore under eye concealer battle. So at the minute the plan is to do around 5 or 6 different Drugstore concealers, pit them against each other, do a review video for each individual one, and at the end a compare and contrast. So if you're watching this, it's one in a series. I will put it in a playlist for you so you can easily find the others, and they're on my channel as well. So if you're not already subscribed, then please subscribe so that you can see all the other videos. And if you're clicking on this, I imagine it's because you're thinking of buying this particular Drugstore concealer, and if so, hopefully this will be helpful to you. Now I'm going to keep the variants the same so that the test is fair, and for that I'm going to be using L'Oreal Revitalift Eye Cream under my eyes. I'm not going to be using a primer because I want to be able to give you an idea of how the concealer works with no primer. I'm not going to use a corrector either, but I am going to set each concealer, with the Real Techniques Duo Fibre Contour Brush and a Rimmel Stay Matte Powder. I personally use Pink Blossom, but you know, any powder would be fine to set under the eyes. And then I've got an e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush and my finger, which I'll be using to apply the product. So I'll get straight into the first one for you. Well, actually, I'm going to use the same intro on all of the videos, so it might not be the first one, but I'm going to get straight into the video. See you at the end. Bye! So today I've got the Bourjois Healthy Mix Concealer, and my shade is 51 Eclat Clair Light Radiance. This concealer I bought because I saw it on Pixie Woo, and I've tried putting it on with my finger, but I don't get the coverage, which seems odd, doesn't it? But I don't get the coverage I want when I just blend it in with my finger. So I'm going to use my brush to do this, and I'm using the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush. I can't talk today, but I'm just going to pat it gently. Now I find that this concealer dries to sort of like a cream to powder formula. If you've used it, you'll know what I mean. It's a little bit like MAC Pro Longwear, but I don't mean to say it's as good as MAC Pro Longwear, I just mean in regards to the finish. So it's quite drying. It doesn't, with MAC Pro Longwear, I'm willing to accept that because of the fact that it's very long wearing. This is not as long wearing as MAC Pro Longwear, but it is as drying, if not more so. So if you struggle with the drying effects of MAC Pro Longwear concealer, then you're going to struggle with this one. So I like to spread it out with a brush and my finger to get the coverage I want, but also I find that this concealer does crease on me. It settles into fine lines and accentuates them, so that happens whether or not I use a powder to set it or not. It has quite a yellow undertone, so if that's your thing and you don't like the pinky undertoned concealers, then you'll love this. But I personally find that for me and my skin tone, pink based concealers and salmon based concealers are actually more brightening than the yellowy ones. When I've got fake tan on like I have now, it looks alright, but when I wear my normal pale skin without fake tan, the yellow is quite strong to the point where there's 1 or 2 times that I've worn this and I've looked in the mirror later on in the day and thought I look ill around my eyes. I look like I've got like yellow circles, like holes, where yellow holes where my eyes are. So yeah, it's not one of my favourite ones. It is the first Drugstore concealer I bought specifically for under the eye, and it's anti-fatigue. And so I feel as though, although it doesn't say it, it is marketed for under the eye, and that's how I've seen Pixie Woo use it anyway. I haven't used it on blemishes, and I'm not going to, because this video is purely to be for best under eye concealer. So yeah, on camera you can pick up that's quite brightening. But as I say, I do have fake tan on, and I am actually wearing BB cream as a foundation, and this one is quite a warm BB cream and it gives me a really warm complexion, and this actually goes quite well with that BB cream. But for most of my actual foundations that are my normal shade, I tend not to pair them with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just film this and set it with some powder for you next. I'm going to use my Real Techniques Duo Fibre, and I think it's supposed to be, it's a Duo Fibre contour brush, but I really like this for setting my under eye powder because it doesn't pick up too much product. And I'm going to use my 002 Pink Blossom Rimmel Stay Matte. I am actually going to use it as an eyeshadow primer today because, or an eyelid primer should we say, just because I want to actually show you, I'm patting that in, I want to show you how it works on the top as well. I know for a lot of us we don't tend to use an eyeshadow primer, especially if we're not actually going to be wearing eyeshadow. We might just use our concealer on our eyelids to conceal veins and redness. I know I definitely do, so I thought I'm not going to be able to show you the concealer on blemishes, but I am going to show you how it works on the eyelid as well. So that's how we are at the moment. Hope you can see that okay. And I'm just going to look down for you so you can see for my under eye circles. It hasn't, I mean the lighting probably doesn't show it very well, but if you look down you can see I have still got bluey purpley tones coming through. I'm not going to use a corrector with any of these concealers because I want you to see them properly for how they work. So yeah, it's not one of my favourite ones, and I can already sort of see it kind of makes my eyelid look a bit crepey. So it's not my favourite finish, not my favourite colour. And I'll show you what it looks like later in the day. I have used nearly all of this, so I can tell you now how it goes throughout the day is that it does start to break down under my eyes, and because of that it sort of goes patchy. It stays where it's settled into the fine lines, but around it it does wear off, and so I don't find it very flattering after say lunchtime, 2 o'clock-ish, depending on what time you did your makeup in the morning. But I will try and report back later and show you what it looks like. So before I go out for the day, I just wanted to quickly show you it with a finished makeup look. I forgot to mention when I was putting it on that in regards to buildability, with it being a powder, drying to a powder finish, it's not buildable. You couldn't put a second layer on it, just it would go cakey and go horribly wrong, because obviously you don't put, most people know you wouldn't put creams on the top of powder, and that's what it's like doing, regardless of whether you've set it or not. So I can't carry it around with me in my bag for touch-ups. I can't sort of redo it at sort of lunchtime when it starts to break down. So I just thought I'd quickly show you. So far I'm feeling maybe 3 or 4 out of 10, but a lot of that is just personal preference, so do bear that in mind, because what might not work for me might work for you. And yeah, I'll just go out for the day. I've got very light makeup on because of the fact that I'm just popping out to the shops and doing some housework. So in fact what I'll do is I'll try catching up with you midday if I can today. I might be able to because I'm in today, not at work. So I'll try doing that, and then I'll let you know at the end of the day. Hi guys, so it's about halfway through my day and it's not looking too bad. I'll just show you. I forgot to mention earlier, I actually applied to prime just some L'Oreal Revitalift on eye cream around here. I'm really not happy with the amount of coverage I've got. I still think I look very tired in here, but it's not actually, it doesn't look as dry as it has done in the past today. It is still there, but it has accentuated and settled ever so slightly. It's subtly, but it's enough for it to bother me, into my fine lines under my eyes. So that's me. I am going to go probably to the gym, so I know that's obviously going to affect it, but at the same time it's not like I get a pouring sweat on. I'm not a particularly fit person. I just do my best. So we'll see how it holds up there, and I'll see you later on. So it's the end of the day now, and I'm just giving you my final showing of the Bourjois concealer. I really don't. My main gripe with this concealer is how it looks near the end of the day, which is now. The camera unfortunately is not picking it up, but it's kind of, the only way to describe it is sort of scaly. It's a bit scaly. So yeah, I mean, it's not so awful I won't finish the tube, because to be honest I just hate waste, but I'm going to stick with my original 4 out of 10 for this particular concealer. And one of the things I find it sort of does is where the concealer ends, which is sort of here, and it blends into the foundation, that line becomes really obvious nearer the end of the day in an unflattering way, which I've never known a concealer to ever do before. It's sort of like you can see where the scaliness of the concealer texture and the foundation sort of ends and then the foundation starts. But I hope I've explained everything anyway properly, and if you've got any questions about the concealer, and if I can answer them I will, and if you do have any questions leave them in the comments. Next up I think it's probably going to be Rimmel's Wake Me Up concealer. So I'm going to do each of my Drugstore concealers in turn, and then give them a mark out of 10, and then do a compare and contrast at the end. So I hope you enjoyed this and it was helpful. See you in the next one. Bye!